Before we dive into today's tale, a quick warning. This story takes a strange and for some unsettling turn involving animals. Viewer discretion is advised. Professional wrestling has always been a world of strange and surreal stories, with characters and events that sometimes sound straight out of a fever dream. And among these legends is one involving Sid Vicious, a towering, powerful wrestler known for his ferocity in the ring, his intensity, and his unusual choice of pets. You're watching Pro Wrestling Noise. Don't forget to hit that like button. Before we start the video, I just want to make it clear. The following story has never been proved to be true, and there is very little out there about it. This is a pro wrestling urban legend. It's up to you to decide if you think it's true or not. Sid Vicious has always been a mixed figure in the wrestling world. A giant in both size and personality, he main evented WrestleMania twice, snagged numerous championships, and left his mark as a tough, imposing character. But life on the road as a wrestler in the 80s and 90s can be brutal. Long hours, constant travel, sleepless nights, and plenty of downtime. While some wrestlers stuck to music or reading to keep themselves occupied, Sid went down a completely different path. The story goes that somewhere along the way, Sid decided he needed a companion for those lonely drives and late nights in unfamiliar hotel rooms. His choice? A squirrel. That's right, a fucking squirrel. No one knows exactly why Sid picked such an unusual pet, or even how he managed to get his hands on a creature that's only found out in the wild. But somehow, Sid found himself with a squirrel sidekick that he took everywhere. In the prank-filled world of wrestling, it didn't take long for Sid and his squirrel to become the talk of the locker room. Many wrestlers couldn't help but laugh, and some probably wondered if Sid had lost his mind. He'd show it off like any pet, and stories say he treated it just as affectionately as someone would a beloved cat or dog. Pranks and dares, or ribs as they're called within the industry, were practically a ritual among wrestlers, often getting downright cruel. One day, as Sid walked into the locker room with his squirrel in tow, someone dared him to do the unthinkable: put the squirrel down his pants. Today, this would be seen as animal cruelty. But back then, the boundaries were more blurred, and wrestlers would go to shocking lengths to pop the boys. So Sid took the dare. He actually put his pet squirrel down his pants. Things went south almost immediately. Squirrels are known for their quick reflexes, sharp claws, and love of nuts. Sid's pet squirrel was no exception. After just a few seconds in Sid's pants, the poor animal did what any squirrel would do in a dark, enclosed space. It started clawing and biting. Sid's tough exterior was no match for the sharp teeth and claws of his furry friend. The situation turned from humorous to horrifying pretty quickly as Sid tried to free the squirrel. But by the time he got it out, the damage was done. Sid ended up in the hospital to get stitches and a rabies shot. The story of Sid's squirrel bite has since become one of wrestling's strangest legends, with rumors and exaggerations following it for years. How many stitches he actually needed isn't known. And as for the squirrel, no one knows exactly what happened to it. Some say it ran away after biting Sid's nuts, while others believe Sid may have kept it a little while longer before realizing it was probably better off in the wild. Sid Vicious's squirrel story stands as one of those urban legends that seem almost too bizarre to be true. It's a strange tale that reflects both the relentless hazing culture of the time and the extreme lengths wrestlers would go to prove themselves or make their co-workers laugh. In the end, Sid may have been a fierce powerhouse in the ring, but he also became the man who, according to legend, was bested by a tiny wild animal he thought he could tame. Whether the story is true or exaggerated over time, it's a classic case of wrestling folklore. Thanks for tuning in to Pro Wrestling Noise for another dive into the wacky and mysterious world of wrestling's urban legends. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. And as always, stay tuned for more untold stories from the Squared Circle.